This is Idiots with Opinions. Idiots may vary.
Hi, welcome back, folks. And if everything goes right, you just heard an ad at the beginning of this episode. We're going to start doing those now. And you're welcome back to the Idiots with Opinions show. My name's Tuscan. There's Todd on the other line. And we'll be talking at you today about some stories.
That's correct, Tuscan. I'm Todd. Hello, everybody. If you don't know me, I like long walks on the beach and going to movies.
That's right. Todd likes a lot of movies, except for the ones that suck. He's very particular, and he will critique the movie. Even if it was good, he will spend like 15 minutes saying what was terrible about it.
That's just what my people do.
That's what your people do, yeah. And I'm fine with it. I like looking and nitpicking all the terrible details that come out of certain things.
I saw a quote-unquote bad movie the other day, Tuscan.
Oh, yeah?
Boy, oh boy, did I enjoy it.
What'd you see?
It was called Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy?
It's with
Boy.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is one of those kids that is allergic to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he falls in love with this girl. And then she's like, I'm going to go marry this guy. Because she realizes she can't really be with him. Because he's in a bubble. And this guy that she's going to marry is a total asshole. So he builds his own bubble suit and tries to go after her, and it's actually not as bad as it sounds.
Wow. I mean, anything with Jake Gyllenhaal is pretty good. He's a very redeeming actor in this dog-eat-dog world that we live in, Todd. That always reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with the Bubble Boy. You remember that one?
Yes.
Oh my
yes,
God.
I do.
One of my favorite episodes. For the only reason was because I love where George was cheating at Trivial Pursuit. Or at the end, because the right answer was the Moors, but it was a misprint, so it was the Moops on the card. And so every time I see the Moors in any of my history classes, I always call them the Moops now. And yeah, that's my whole story. I forgot to do my vocal warm-ups before we started, because we started rather abruptly.
We did start abruptly.
Yeah.
But
and
I
I
like to jump right into it.
I know I told you about this already, but for any of our listeners out there who haven't heard, I've discovered one of my favorite things in the world is Droopy Dog from the old comic, or the old cartoons, doing the vocal warm-ups, just because
he's got a voice down here, and it's the worst diction you could possibly think of. And so when he does vocal exercises, it's diction is done at the tip of the tongue and the teeth.
It's just nonsense, and I love it.
Tuscan called me one day just to tell me that.
I was at work.
While he was at work.
Yeah. Had other responsibilities.
He didn't think it could wait until the next time I talked to him, which is every week.
Yeah, at least. And it was probably going to be the next day or something.
Yeah.
Knowing how we work. But my God, it was so funny. I was cracking myself up at work.
I thought it was hilarious that you called me for that reason. But yeah, wonderful story, Tuscan. Do you have any stories for me that are not about you, but about the world?
About the world? Well, I have a couple, and they're both kind of iffy stories. Let me just explain what I mean. I'll jump into the first one here. So, there was a young boy in North Carolina. He's 3 years old, and he was playing outside his grandmother's house when he got lost. He wandered off into the woods, and he went missing for 2 days. And so the entire town put out a whole APV on this guy. They sent out search parties and all that good stuff, and they started looking for the kid.
Was he in the Upside Down?
What?
Was he in the Upside Down?
Oh yeah, probably. But the whole thing is he said he'd been hanging out with a bear. He said he had spent those 2 days hanging out with a bear. I don't know if that's true. He is 3. So the credibility of this child, who, none of us really know whether or not he's making this up, if it's in his imagination.
Bears aren't really that bad. I mean, they're not as bad as queens or twinks.
They're a lot more cuddly, I would say. A lot warmer. Yeah. Usually funnier. But these apparently, yeah, he goes missing for 2 days, and they've got like helicopters and search dogs and all that stuff. And there was this woman who was like walking her dog, and she had returned home after being in the search party, but she went to take her dogs out for a walk, and she heard a child crying nearby, and went and found him, contacted emergency services. The kid was freezing. I mean, it was like freezing temperatures outside. It had been raining, and so people were like, yeah, the kid's probably dead. But it turns out the kid was not dead, and in fact was found, and now he's in a hospital, and is convinced he was hanging out with a bear. So, take that one with a grain of salt. It's gone through a couple of people at this point.
How would you feel if your kid just disappeared? Because that never ends well. It almost never ends well.
It's got to be scary, right? It's got to be like, it's like a parent's worst nightmare. That's why they've got all their strict rules and such.
Yeah. And then all the other parents are like, well, I'm doing my parenting better than you. When it all, to some degree, is a bit of chance.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know who's out there taking children. Speaking of which, have you been watching the new season of True Detective?
I watched the first episode.
It's good. I'm enjoying it. I like
Good.
this one. Yeah. Are you not enjoying it?
I feel like I'll watch it, but I feel like it's better than 2, but not as good as 1. Am I correct?
I only watched the first episode of 2. Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
2 was bad.
Almost no television program can top True Detective season 1.
Ooh, no. True Detective season 1 is one of the best contained stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, which is just a dynamite acting team. Like the two of them together. I do like the actors in this one quite a bit, and both of those guys still executive produce for the show, McConaughey and Harrelson.
Yeah.
So
Mahershala Ali is the main actor, and I like him a lot. He was in. Have you seen that new Spider-Man animated movie, dude?
I have not. I've been hearing great things about it.
It is probably my favorite animated movie. It's so good.
Yeah, I need to see it. I'll get out there.
It's the most beautiful animated movie I've ever seen.
I'm sure.
Hands down.
I'm sure. It got nominated for an Oscar, right? With
I think it's going to win an Oscar. I think it's going to win Best Animated Picture.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it deserves it. There are very few superhero movies that ever get the nod. I mean, Black Panther's the first one to get a nod for Best Picture, and that's really saying something considering The Dark Knight was a thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, The Dark Knight got Oscars. So, The Dark Knight got Oscars.
Yeah, but not Best Picture Oscar.
It didn't get Best Picture, no.
Who won in 2008?
What do I look like? An encyclopedia?
Yeah, an encyclopedia of movie knowledge? Absolutely.
No,
What are you talking
I don't know
about?
who won the Oscar in 2008.
You go to film school, for gosh sake. Todd, you should know these things. Don't they teach you about films?
Yeah, but they teach you about film techniques and weird things, and then they try and stay away from the really popular mainstreamy ones, which there's pros and cons to really mainstream movies, because, I mean, you got to think of the business side, but also you got to think of the story side, because
there are lessons
people
to be
love
learned,
the
right?
story.
Like there are lessons
In the
to
Dark.
be learned.
Oh yeah, The Dark Knight has just fantastic social commentary. I can talk about The Dark Knight for so long. I apologize for everyone who is this far into our podcast and we've still only talked about mostly movies, but oh man, there's so many great lines, like the hospital scene with the Joker and and Two-Face, where he says like, no one panics if it's all according to plan. Like, if I say that a truckload of soldiers is going to be blown up or a gangbanger is going to get shot, no one panics. But if I say one innocent little person is going to die, then everyone loses their minds.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
It's
we
true.
don't care about soldiers dying because it's all that we hear.
No, the writing was good. The practical effects, I mean, talk about that for a hot minute.
Flipping a truck,
The morality,
a big semi, or blowing up an actual hospital.
the commentary on post 9/11 America. I mean, think about
Yeah.
how crazy that stuff, you know?
It's just genius.
But yeah, that was a phenomenal movie. I'm gonna look up who won in 2008, Todd, while you launch into your next story.
Well, the next story is all about thieves. So it was about this guy in Florida. Of course, it's in Florida. Well, two guys. It's this one guy was crawling on the floor of this pizza shop while a burglar, that was his accomplice, like smashed the window so that he could get in. And he went in to the office and stole the safe.
So far we have thieves crawling around on the floor.
Yeah, and they stole a safe from the pizza place.
Okay.
But it turns out that night they had emptied all of the cash from the safe.
Okay.
So they stole
A safe.
absolutely nothing other than a safe.
Nice.
So it's jokes on them.
yeah. Fools.
Yeah.
So that's it?
They don't have any leads in who these people are, but
care?
at least they didn't get any money.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I suppose that's poetic justice. In case you were wondering, it was No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
And I do not see who is nominated because who gives a damn? I didn't care for No Country for Old Men. It was fine.
I thought it was good. I don't think it's as good as The Dark Knight.
No, not nearly as good. Not nearly as good. Let's see what I got. Excuse me for going directly backwards, completely disregarding. Best Picture. Also nominated Atonement, which I've never heard of.
I think that had Keira Knightley in it.
Yeah? Maybe. Juno,
Okay.
which I have not seen.
Weird.
Right?
That is strange that was nominated.
It does not strike me
I mean,
as
it's a
Best
good
Picture
movie,
film.
but yeah. It's
Michael
very...
Michael Clayton, which sucked. I remember telling you about this. I called you about how disappointed I was when I watched Michael Clayton.
I thought Michael Clayton came out very recently.
Apparently not. Apparently it came out in '08. It was
Weird. Okay.
that George Clooney movie where he's like the lawyer who cleans up.
Yeah.
But that was the whole thing. Like, it never really showed him being the guy. Because what I pictured...
My dad liked it.
Of course he did. You know, when you picture... You remember the guy in Pulp Fiction when Sam Jackson and that other guy... who's
John Travolta.
John Travolta, that's the one. Kill that dude on accident, and then they call Marcellus Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcellus Wallace is like, don't worry, I'm sending the wolf. And then that other guy whose name escapes me showed up. The wolf shows up. Like, I thought it was going to be a
Quentin
whole...
Tarantino's house.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino was living there. I figured the whole movie, Michael Clayton, would be about stuff like that. Like him going around and doing stuff like that. You see him do one of those, and that's it. And it's short, and it's like a side note to establish his character. But I mean, talk about an empty victory. I think that's how it ties in. It was also up against There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis,
Ooh, yeah.
which I did not see either. I only saw No Country for Old Men of these movies, and Michael Clayton. I'm just surprised Juno was up there.
Yeah.
That
And Dark Knight wasn't.
right?
But at least Heath Ledger got the Oscar.
Heath Ledger deserved it, even posthumously. He got Best Supporting, right?
Yeah. In fact, I think that's some of the best acting,
Period.
of all time. Debate me on it. I'll go toe to toe on that claim.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong... To be honest, because actor in a supporting role was Javier Bardem. Maybe I'm looking at... It came out in '08, but maybe it was the 2009 Oscars. Oh, boy. This is just confusion central. So, yeah, but talk about an empty
We really
victory,
wasted that much time on the wrong information, Tuscan.
I did. Well, I mean, you know, it wasn't going to be up there. But an empty victory, man. Walk away. Yeah, it was the 2009. So Heath Ledger did win Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and Slumdog Millionaire took it over Dark Knight.
I see.
Which, okay, fine. That movie was fine.
Have I ever told you about how my roommate, Asher,
Robert Downey Jr. was nominated for his performance in Tropic
Thunder.
That surprises me.
Why?
What? It was a good role.
He's a dude playing another dude.
He wears blackface. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised no one was offended. I don't care, right?
I think there's some interview with Jamie Foxx on Joe Rogan where he talks about that.
Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx does a really great impression of Robert Downey Jr. where he's like, hey, we want you to... It was Jamie Foxx. I don't know if it was him who was asking or if he was impersonating somebody else asking him. But he's like, hey, we want you to wear blackface. And he's like, yeah, sure, of course. Whatever, man. And as long as it was like handled correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as it's presented well. Which, I mean, that was a Ben Stiller movie, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
Props to Ben Stiller. Doesn't usually make good movies, but that one was not bad.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
So, talk about pulling the wool over somebody's eyes. I have a story here for you, Todd. I present to you and submit for your approval a story regarding a man from Prague, that's in the Czech Republic, who successfully robbed a convenience store with his penis. That's right. He walked into a convenience store, waited in line, mind you, and when he got to the front of the line and was talking to the sales associate, he said to the associate, give me the money, I have a knife. But the man was not holding a knife. He had reached into his pants and extracted his member and was now brandishing it for the sales associate. And yet, he successfully pulled off the robbery and walked away with what I believe they said were a few thousand. They gave a type of money I've never heard of before. Crowns.
Okay. So did they not, by successfully, you mean he's not yet been caught?
No, they caught him. Afterwards, he was quickly apprehended.
Well, I guess your dreams don't come true.
According to this article, he was also running a scam in the streets of central Prague, in which he would tell people that he worked for a radio station, and that radio station drove a van around town. And if you could, and it was always in a different spot every day, and if you could catch the van and be the first person to do it, they would give you like hundreds of thousands of crowns. I don't know what crowns are worth. It's probably Monopoly money. But he would charge fees of up to 1,000 crowns to give people information on where the van was going to be. Like,
He's a genius businessman.
How gullible do you have to be?
He's an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur.
How gullible do you have to be to fall for that stuff, man?
Well, you got to be Czech.
You do have to be Czech, yeah. Or a tourist in the Czech Republic.
Honestly, the tourists in Czech Republic are probably the most likely to fall for a scam like that.
I think I've been to Prague. It was one of those places my parents took me before I could remember, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When they were like, yeah, we'll tour all of Europe before Tuscan's conscious, and then we'll just tell him we've been to Paris, and we'll show him this picture of him near the Eiffel Tower, and I'll be like, the hell, man? That sounds fun. Let's go back. And they're like, nah, it's expensive.
Like, remember that? Remember when we had a great time? No.
I was like, so you could afford it when you were 27 or 28, and you can't afford it anymore? Not cool. Anyway.
Hey, that ranting. Age is coming up, Tuscan. You better get a baby out the oven.
Yeah. You think I should be squirting one out? I'm sorry.
I don't like
for putting it that way. It's not how I meant to. Ooh, boy. None for me today. Thanks. You know what the teachers at school always said, Todd? Feces.
If you have sex, you'll get pregnant and die.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say feces spread diseases. If there's one thing I know about sex, feces is involved. Every time.
It's where you take a poop in front of another.
And then the baby comes out of that. All right, we've got enough on a disgusting note. So Todd, why don't you close this off here? Give us,
dude, this episode.
It's off the rails already.
I got the most badass story I think anyone's ever heard of.
Does it involve Chuck Norris?
No.
Not badass enough.
Well, it involves a birth.
Oh, okay. So we're right on the topic.
Yes. So, after this lady had pooped in front of her lover.
Yes.
9 months later, she was pregnant. And she was in North Carolina. Actually, I remember the other story that you covered was in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So this woman gave birth to this boy in a car, speeding to the hospital, and was named Atom Bomb.
I saw this one. Yeah.
She named her kid Atom Bomb.
Isn't that how Ricky Bobby was born in that Will Ferrell movie?
Talladega Nights. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And anyway, she was arrested soon after.
Yeah.
Atom Bomb was born inside of a compact car.
Mm-hmm.
This was New Year's Day.
Okay.
And she was in the passenger seat.
Okay.
She wasn't even in the back seat.
They didn't even give her that much room. Did she recline the chair? Did they give that information?
It does. I don't have that information.
Okay.
It's very specific.
It seems personal.
But yeah, apparently this woman that gave birth to Atom Bomb was this huge drug dealer that would deal methamphetamine. I think while she gave birth to Atom Bomb, she had...
Was she on meth at the time?
That she had 36 grams of meth, baggies, and scales when she was arrested around 1:15 a.m.
Help me out. Is that a lot?
I assume it's a lot. I don't know anything about drugs or meth specifically.
Yeah, I definitely know nothing about meth.
But I feel like that's a lot.
It sounds like a lot.
Hey, if you do a lot of meth and you're a longtime listener of Idiots with Opinions, let us know in the comments or tweet us or DM us or send a carrier pigeon.
Because that's about an ounce and a quarter, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what the going price for meth is.
The only thing that I know about meth is purely from my knowledge of watching Breaking Bad. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah, I know a teenth is a thing.
Yeah.
So, that's what I know. I don't know how much that is.
Well,
I don't really know.
She was arrested a couple weeks before this, and this that was December 13th, and that's when she was charged with possession with the intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver methamphetamine.
Damn, so she's running the whole operation, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
She just didn't show up to her court sentence.
Because she was in labor?
No, she just didn't show up, and then she went into labor New Year's Day.
Got it. So she got nabbed by Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
You ever watch that show?
No.
I remember watching one episode of it with my brother, I think. And we were on vacation or we were in Denver or something like that. I can't really remember what the deal was. But we, to this day, make fun of it because there was this whole scene where, Dog the Bounty Hunter is a celebrity or something, and he's married to this woman named Beth. And Beth is just as trashy as somebody who would be married to Dog the Bounty Hunter, as you would expect. By the way, apologies to any Dog the Bounty Hunter avid fans out there.
Hey, we just keep shaving down our audience. We've lost all the Czech Republicans.
No, we haven't. They're not quite Russian. Not anymore, at least.
Well, we've lost all the Russians.
Yeah, well,
we're gonna get murdered by the secret police.
They can stay going.
The KGB.
You stay in
if
Russia.
we ever go to Russia, they're going to kill us.
I'm gonna go all A. Mitchell Palmer on y'all.
Okay. Well, I don't think I have the ability to take on the entire KGB, but speak for yourself, Tuscan.
Okay. Anyway, Beth was coming out and they were doing some sort of book signing or appearance or something like that, and she was videotaping it on her phone, And all I remember is it would like cut to the footage that she took on her phone, and it was flashing in like red letters at the bottom of the screen, Beth Cam. And so I don't know why that's so funny to me. It's just like a constant meme in my head. This whole thing with Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's just anyway, so she got picked up by a bounty hunter, taken back to jail. What happened to Atom Bomb? And is that a
Atom
first and
Bomb-
middle name?
Oh, I guess they call him Adam.
Oh, yes, of course.
So he is with the infant with its grandmother, his grandmother,
I see.
and mother to her boyfriend. Well, I guess she's not his grandmother. The boyfriend's mother.
That's his grandmother. That would be the father's
But she's not. Oh, yeah,
mother,
you're
right? Unless she's got a new boyfriend since she became pregnant, which is a
Yeah.
tough sell, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, when you got 36 grams of meth, that you can just be like, hey, I sell and deal meth.
And I make
Well,
it myself.
Selling and dealing is the same thing. I manufacture and sell meth.
I wouldn't trust anybody.
So
like that.
you want to help me do that and also raise my child?
I want to know.
So yeah, but apparently the atom bomb is healthy. It's a healthy atom bomb. No one's dropped it yet.
I want to know who was driving the car, and if they were in
Probably her
motion when the child
boyfriend.
was born.
Yeah, I think she was like speeding to the hospital.
Yeah.
It was in motion when atom bomb was born.
So who was driving, and who subsequently delivered the child?
She delivered the child herself.
Oh, so she's
in the
like,
passenger seat.
got it. This is like a one-man
She
operation,
just-
one-woman operation.
She just pooped out this baby.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
And then she dropped the atom bomb.
Well, there you go, folks. You heard it here first. A meth dealer from North Carolina dropped the atom bomb. Meanwhile, a child otherwhere in the state was hanging out with a bear. And if you
North
want to know
Carolina
anything,
being crazy this week.
if you want to know anything more about any of our stories, why don't you just give good old Karl Westberg a try? Give him a call. I think if you say his name 3 times while looking into a mirror and then turn off the lights, when you turn them back on, he will be standing behind you.
With a smile.
Yeah. Karl Westberg, now partnering with our other sponsor, is still sponsoring our videos. He is a very generous man. He allows us to do this, or forces us to do it. Depends on how you look at it. Really, really a point of view kind of deal. So, but if you want to send us an email, just kind of talk, keep us company, give us some encouraging words. Why don't you shoot us an email over at studios.volatile@gmail.com. Or no, it's just studiosvolatile. I always get that wrong.
Apparently, a dot between 2 words doesn't make any difference in an email address. Did
Really?
you know that?
Try sending something
Somebody
to
told me that, and I think that's
studios.volatile.
true because I started not telling people the dot in my email address, my personal email address, and it still goes through.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very
The
interesting.
more you know.
Well,
Well, at least you learned
Either
something
way.
on the Idiots with Opinions podcast today.
go ahead and send it to studiosvolatile@gmail.com just to be safe. But if you want to check us out on Twitter, that's much easier. You can get us at Opinions That Suck, SUK. Get our lovely, thought-provoking tweets. And if you want to see some of Todd's Photoshop work, it's all on display over there at Idiotic Opinions on Instagram.
And if you want to harass our interns, send mail to our P.O. box.
Yep. You can find that. It's just enough Google searching. Give it time. I'm not going to give it out, but if you look hard enough, you can find our P.O. box.
If you can find our P.O. box in the next 20 days,
Yeah,
we will give you a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
that's right. We'll take you on the tour ourselves. We will dump you in the river of chocolate and watch you get sucked up into the machine.
But
That
you'll
is
see a world of
guarantee.
imagination.
Yeah.
So what'd you learn today, Tuscan?
I learned that a penis can be a weapon, and I'm going to treat mine as such from this day forward.
Oh, my roommate just turned on the air. Sorry, everyone. This specific episode was a little off the rails, but did you know that how bed bugs copulate? They have, like, the males have, like, a knife for their weapon,
Oh, no.
and then they just stab it into the stomach of the female. And that's how they make babies.
And
Baby
then-
bed bugs.
And then more bedbug larvae explode from the female, like chest punchers in Alien.
No, they come out its butt. They poop it.
Okay.
They poop out the babies just like everyone else.
Well, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. And you heard it here, folks. This is...
You heard, folks.
You heard it all today. How bed bugs make bed babies. And how atom bombs can also be babies. Thank you and good night.
You've been listening to Idiots with Opinions. Tune in next week